since like 2013, 14, but I'm like, man, I'm too knee deep in this shit. I'm really hands-on. I'm really hustling. I'm in the trenches every day, all day. Sleep in the car, serving, riding around, serving all day, man. I eat, sleep, shit, that shit.
Family identified one of the victims as a Milwaukee rapper. The scene unfolded this afternoon inside a building near 31st and Cameron. 12 News' Jasmine Franklin is live on the big story here at 10. Jasmine, it was certainly at a very emotional scene there tonight.
You ever have that gut feeling when someone tells you be safe, and you have no idea it's the last thing you'll ever say to them? That's exactly what happened to a family in Milwaukee this week. And honestly, this one hits different because it's not just one life that was cut short. It's two, a mentor and a young man who looked up to him. Gone in the same afternoon, in the same building, and right now nobody outside of the police department really knows why. Before we get into this, if you're new here, welcome to Shadow Crime. And listen, I say this every time, but I mean it every time. If you don't hit that subscribe button and tap the bell right now, you're going to miss the update on this case when it drops. And trust me, there's going to be an update. So do that now. Don't scroll past it, because these families deserve for their stories to actually be heard and followed through to the end, not just watched once and forgotten. Okay, let's talk about what we actually know. Monday, August 17th, around 3:40 in the afternoon, Milwaukee police get called out to a building near 31st and Cameron on the city's north side. Some reports say it was near a warehouse, close to Teutonia and Hampton. When officers get there, they find two men. Both of them are already gone. One of them is 33 years old. The other victim wasn't identified right away, but we now know who he was, and that's where this story starts to break your heart a little. The 33-year-old was a local Milwaukee rapper known as Funny Money. And when I say local, I mean he was known, he was loved, he had people in the city who genuinely cared about him. His sister Quita spoke to reporters at the scene, and you could hear it in her voice. She said he loved music, he loved his family, he loved everybody. That's not just a nice thing you say about somebody after they're gone. That's usually the truth people default to when someone really was that way in life. But here's the part that's going to sit with you. His nephew, who everyone calls TJ, told reporters that the last thing he ever said to his uncle was, "I love you, be safe." Just think about that for a second, not knowing that's a goodbye. TJ called him his right-hand man. That's family. That's real. And now that conversation is the last one they'll ever have. The second victim was 21 years old. His name was Daquaiseon Evans, but on the music scene, everybody knew him as Lil Sheisty. And this is the detail that makes this whole thing feel even heavier. Lil Sheisty wasn't just some random person who happened to be in that building. He was Funny Money's mentee. His family says he was actually at the recording studio with his mentor when they were both killed.
Family identified one of the victims as a Milwaukee rapper. The scene unfolded this afternoon inside a building near 31st and Cameron. 12 News' Jasmine Franklin is live on the big story here at 10. Jasmine, it was certainly at a very emotional scene there tonight.
Exactly, Blake. People at the scene were screaming and crying for several hours this afternoon. Family members identifying the victim killed as a Milwaukee rapper who goes by the name Funny Money. His family tells me he was on his way to the studio to record new music when his life was cut short. An emotional and chaotic scene near 31st and Cameron Monday.
My little brother, I just called and talked to him yesterday, bro.
Two people found shot and killed inside a building. One victim identified by loved ones as a Milwaukee rapper who goes by Funny Money. His sister shared this photo with 12 News. Crime scene tape spanned several blocks on Monday for more than 4 hours. The rapper's family did not want to share his real name with 12 News, but say he was heading to record music at a studio nearby.
My brother was a funny person. He a rapper. The situation that happened, I don't even know what happened.
The last thing I said to my uncle was, "I love him, be safe." And he said, "I'm always safe from there." That was about it.
News Chopper 12 exclusively capturing the scene from above.
You can see detectives standing in front of it. There is a couple of evidence technician vans here as well. We saw a group of them walk down to Lincoln Creek They were looking down over the edge. There's still a couple of officers there, and then they came with a plastic bag and a brown bag, and they carried that back to one of the vehicles here.
Detectives not revealing a motive or what may have led up to the shooting, but they did arrest a 28-year-old. News Chopper 12 there as police took photographs of a man in handcuffs.
And Jasmine back with us now. Do we know anything about the second victim killed?
So police say there were two victims, a 33-year-old and the other victim has not been identified. Now, family members of Funny Money say he may have been heading to the studio with a music producer at the time of the shooting all unfolding.
All right, Jasmine Franklin reporting live for us here on The Big Story at 10.
So let that sink in for a second. Two artists, one older and already known in the city, one younger and just get his name out there, in the same room, working on their craft, doing something they loved. And in one afternoon, both of their futures got taken away. Lil Sheisty was only 21. His family says he was a father. He had 3 kids who are never going to get to see him again. Think about that. 3 kids who are going to grow up hearing stories about their dad instead of actually having him around. His sister, Daquaiseon, has been talking about him too. And one thing she said really stuck with me. She said she's been wearing his jackets just to feel like he's still close to her. If you've ever lost somebody suddenly, you know exactly what that means. You hold on to whatever you can, a jacket, a voice note, anything, because it's the closest thing you have left of them actually being there. Now, here's where the community stepped in. The day after the shooting, loved ones held a vigil for Lil Sheisty, and one of his relatives, Trinica Walker, said something that I think everybody watching this needs to hear. She said, quote, "We need to change our focus. We need to change our mindset if we want to live." That's not just grief talking. That's somebody who's tired. And she's not the only one in that family who feels that way. Another family member, Shantia Jones, said something even heavier. She said in their family, over the last couple of years, it's been a repeated cycle their younger generation just keeps passing on. Sit with that for a second. This isn't the first time this family has had to stand at a vigil. This isn't the first young life they've had to bury. And that's the part of the story that goes way beyond just one shooting. This is a family that has been dealing with loss after loss, and they are begging publicly for that cycle to stop. So now you're probably asking the same question I was asking. What actually happened in that building? Who did this and why? Well, here's what we know for certain right now. Milwaukee police did make an arrest. A 28-year-old man was taken into custody in connection with this shooting. Criminal charges are being referred to the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office, which means the legal process is moving, but it hasn't fully caught up yet. And this is where I have to be straight with you, because shadow crime has always been about giving you facts, not filling in gaps with guesses just to make a story sound more exciting. As of right now, the motive is not public. Police have said themselves that the circumstances leading up to the shooting remain under investigation. And even Funny Money's own family told reporters they don't know what led to this, and they don't know anything about the suspect either. So if you're seeing theories floating around online already, be careful, because right now, nobody outside that investigation actually knows the full truth of what happened in that room.
2 Milwaukee rappers killed in a shooting, and tonight, loved ones are coming together to remember one of those men. He died in that shooting near 31st and Cameron. Fox 6's Ashley Sears just spoke with his family, just back here in studio, and shares the message they want everyone to hear tonight, Ash.
Yeah, hi, Ben. They say 21-year-old Daquaiseon Evans was a father and up-and-coming rapper. They are heartbroken by his loss, and they say this isn't the first time they've dealt with tragedy.
We ask that you comfort us, oh God.
Near 24th and Fond du Lac, loved ones come together in grief.
Father God, wrap your arms around us.
They remember a life taken suddenly Monday afternoon.
I've been wearing his jackets to feel like he's close to me.
Police were called to 31st and Cameron around 3:40. They found 21-year-old Daquaiseon Evans and 33-year-old Quentene Williams dead from gunshot wounds. A 28-year-old was arrested.
I've been listening to his songs ever since. I got to hear his voice.
Daquaiseon Evans is Daquaison's twin. She says her brother was dedicated to family and had a love for music.
He was a rapper and he was very family oriented. He got 3 kids that he loved dearly.
Loved ones say the 21-year-old was an up-and-coming rapper, better known as Lil Sheisty, who was at the recording studio with his mentor and friend, Funny Money, when they were killed.
We need to change our focus. We need to change our mindsets if we want to live.
Family says this isn't their first time grieving a loved one lost to gun violence.
In our family, the last couple of years, this has been a repeated cycle. Our younger generation is passing on.
They are praying that cycle ends and vigils like this don't have to continue.
Long live Sheisty! Love you, baby!
Again, police arrested a 28-year-old man. Family says they do not know the circumstances of the shooting or the suspect. Charges have been referred to the district attorney's office. Ben and Mary.
Now here's the part that makes this case so frustrating to sit with. Normally by this point in one of our episodes, we'd be walking through the twist, the moment where everything clicks into place. But this case hasn't given us that yet. The only real break we have so far is that an arrest was actually made, and it happened fast. Within the same investigation, before the day was even over, police already had a 28-year-old suspect in custody. That tells us this wasn't some cold trail. Officers moved on this quickly, which usually means there was something at that scene, whether it was witnesses, cameras, or physical evidence, that pointed them in a direction right away. But here's what's strange. No name has been released for that suspect. No booking photo. No formal charges filed yet. Nothing beyond charges being referred to the district attorney's office. And when a case moves as fast on an arrest but as slow on releasing details, it usually means investigators are still piecing together exactly what happened in that room, and maybe even what the relationship was between the suspect and these two victims. Was this random? Was it personal? Right now, we genuinely do not know, and neither does Funny Money's own family. So let's think about this together for a second. You've got a mentor and his mentee working on music, doing something creative and positive, in a building that should have just been another studio session. And now, two families are planning funerals instead of celebrating songs that were never finished. That's the part of this case that I don't think people talk about enough. It's not just about the violence. It's about everything that got cut off in the middle. The verses never recorded. The birthdays Lil Sheisty's 3 kids are going to have without him. The next show, Funny Money, was never going to get performed. And that brings me to something worth sitting with. Why is it that in cities like Milwaukee, families keep describing this exact same thing, a cycle, a repeated loss, generation after generation losing young men to gun violence? Is that just how it is now? Or is that something that can actually be broken? And when an entire family says openly that they don't know why this happened to their loved one, what does that tell you about how quickly violence can show up with absolutely no warning, even in a place that's supposed to be safe, like a recording studio with people you trust? I want you to think about that. And I want to know what you think, too. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because conversations like this are exactly why this channel exists. If this story affected you the way it affected me, do not scroll past this without hitting subscribe and turning on that bell notification, because the moment new details on this case get released, whether it's the suspect's name, the charges, or what actually happened in that room, we are going to be the ones bringing that update straight to you. This is Shadow Crime, and we are not done with this story yet.